Courtney, thanks for doing this. We've been looking forward to having you on the show for a while.
It's my pleasure. When do we get started?
Just waiting for Sheldon to get here. He texted, said he was running a little late, so as soon as he's here, we'll record.
Great. I really can't wait to chat about this movie.
Yeah, me too. Say, you want to help me with a prank?
What do you have in mind?
Okay, Sheldon claims that horror movies never scare him, but I'm willing to bet this will.
Wow. That clown mask is creepy.
I know, right? Here, how about you put this on and hide in the closet? When Sheldon gets here, I'll get him to open the closet door, you leap out and scare him good.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know him. Is that the best way to meet?
Don't worry, it'll be hilarious. He's gonna love it.
Okay, if you say, it'll be alright.
Oh, it will, trust me. Oh, here he comes, hide!
Okay.
Sheldon, glad you finally made it.
Yeah, Mike, look, I have to tell you something.
Oh, what's up, buddy?
Well, I didn't actually watch this week's movie.
But why? We're supposed to record in a few minutes.
Okay, I've never told you this, but I'm afraid of clowns.
What? Are you serious?
Yeah, and I mean, like, deathly afraid. I freak out at the sight of them. I thought that maybe I could get over it since Courtney picked this movie, but I just couldn't do it. I'm sorry.
What are we going to do about this episode?
Well, tell you what, I'll call Courtney and ask if there's another movie she'd like to cover that we've all already seen.
Okay, maybe we can do that.
All right. Okay, well, since she's not here yet anyway, I'll give her a call and ask. Just need to hang up my jacket.
Okay, I'll just... No, wait, don't open!
Boo!
Ah!
Oh, God!
Whoa! He went right out that window.
Mike, he's seriously hurt.
Yeah, wow, for a guy with such a big head, I thought there'd be more brains.
Oh, my God. We have to call an ambulance.
Oh, no, he'll be fine.
Fine? How will he be fine?
He's died like 4 times already on this show.
What?
Yeah, he's always fine after the theme song plays. Just push that play button over there.
What?
It's okay, I got it.
What the hell is going on?
Oh, you're just in shock. It happens to all our guests. You'll get over it.
Welcome to the Graveyard Shift Horror Podcast, where each week we watch a horror movie suggested by one of our listeners, and we break it down into the good, the bad, and, if needed, any other category we decide to make up along the way. We'll talk about the plot, some production details, and anything else we find fun or relevant. I'm your host, Sheldon, and I never worked a graveyard shift alone. Please say hello to my favorite scary clown, my co-host, Mike.
Hey, everybody!
And, as if that's not enough, we have even more company this week. Joining us for our movie breakdown is the lovely and talented actress Courtney Akbar.
Hello. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Oh, it is our pleasure. Thank you so much for doing this. So, Courtney, just so that our listeners have a little info, how about you tell them a little about yourself?
Hi, yeah. My name's Courtney. I'm from LA. I am an actress. I've worked on movies such as Astro that released last year. I've been on the show NCIS. I also have a new film that's coming out this year. It's a horror movie, Circus Road. I'm super excited about it. I hope everybody is as excited about it as I am. Yeah, and I can't wait to get started.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait for Circus Road. Like, honestly, I read the description, some of the info that you sent us, and it sounds fantastic.
Oh, I think it's going to be one of the best clown movies that has come out in the last few years, for sure.
Mm-hmm. And can you, obviously you can't give too much information about it just yet, but can you give, like, just a general synopsis?
Yeah, so we have a bride and her bridesmaids. She got stood up at her wedding and went off with her friends into the desert, and they were trying to head off into a spa. On their way, they break down on the side of the road, and it just so happens to be in a desolated town in the middle of nowhere, which so happens to be run by the crazy clown cult, the Clownies. And they are in for a heaping of trouble as soon as they get there.
Awesome. Yeah, like I said, I really cannot wait for it. It sounds fantastic. Okay, well, we have a different movie to talk about, though. We all watched a movie that I seriously cannot wait to talk about. So, Mike, what have we got this week?
Today's episode is Juggalo No He Didn't, because we watched Terrifier.
We sure did. Now, Courtney, you actually picked this movie, so what made you choose this one?
I did. Terrifier is actually my favorite horror movie at the moment. I'm a huge fan of slasher movies, a very big fan of the 70s, 80s themed horror movies, so this movie was exactly my cup of tea.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you're not the only person that's a fan of this one, as we had a few listeners suggest this movie for us. Listeners like Rachel P., Don H., Lisa K., and Monica S., who have all been waiting for us to cover Terrifier for quite a while. And,
Terraformer, the story of a clown reshaping the surface of Mars.
So if anyone else has a movie you'd like us to cover on the show, we're going to tell you all the ways you can do that at the end of the episode. But before we get to the end of the episode, we've got to begin the episode. So let's get started. So here's a little info on Terrifier. Released on October of 2016, Terrifier is an American horror movie by Damien Leone, and it's based on a series of short films. It has a runtime of 86 minutes, is rated R. The Rotten Tomatoes scores in this one are very surprising to me. It has a critic score of 73%, which is not bad, but it has an audience score of 57%. Undeserving, I think. If anything, I kind of thought it would be opposite. I thought that the critic score would be low, but the audience score was going to be really high. So, kind of surprised to see this. But anyway, just in case you are curious about the plot, a maniacal clown terrorizes 3 young women on Halloween night and anyone else who stands in his way. And let me tell you, that's... it is the plot. It doesn't give you a whole lot of details. But that's okay, because we're going to fill in some of the details with the good and the bad, the things we liked, and even some of the things we didn't like about this movie. That can be something as broad as an overall theme, or something as specific as a certain scene, certain character, certain line of dialogue, whatever. If we liked it, we'll talk about it. If we didn't like it, we'll probably talk about it even more. We always start off with the good, and we always start off with the Mike. So, Mike, please tell me something good about Terrifier.
Right off the bat, this movie has an amazing introduction, seeing Art prepare for a night on the town.
Mm-hmm.
And even before the credits, we get something which I simply call the sight for sore eyes, which is, how did Pan's Labyrinth not get escorted out of the TV studio? I mean, who could lose sight of someone who looks like that?
Good question.
Because when this movie begins, we get again a monster from a Del Toro movie being interviewed about being the sole survivor of the rampage of Art the Clown, and then we see the anchor woman afterwards talking about how hideous the guest was. And somehow, again, security just didn't escort her out of the building or anything. They just said, okay, we're done. Find your way out. Because I guess even they didn't want to be near her.
You didn't have to wait very long. I was literally, once, the TV host was talking to her boyfriend or husband, whatever this guy was, and she's talking about how hideous this person was. I'm like, wow, you're a piece of crap. I hope you get what's coming to. Oh, my God.
Yeah, you were kind of expecting something to happen to her, but you thought maybe Art would give her the treatment.
Yeah, it's like, jeez, that came out of nowhere.
Somehow this thing with no face managed to find their way into, of all the dressing rooms, she found the right one and just waited.
Yeah, that opens up with a bang for sure. Like that.
Oh wow, this definitely, even before the credits, you get a great way of the villain assembling himself, putting his tools together, and one of his survivors just racking up their own body count.
Yes, one thing I really love about the intro, now that you mention it, is as you see Art getting ready for his next play adventure, I'm going to call it. As you see her on the TV, you realize that's almost like the beginning of a sequel because he survived and she's alive talking about it and he's still there and he's going out to do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, spoiler alert.
And exactly. And he kind of looks like, you get the idea too that when he sees her on TV, like he's talking and she mentions, she was the only survivor, he kicks into TV screen. So it seems like he might be a little ticked off about that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
So it makes you think right off the bat, you kind of know where this movie is going, but you don't.
Yeah, you'd think, he might be going after her to finish the job. No.
Yep, it almost makes you think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so that perfect way to start off. That was definitely good. Like, it starts off with a bang, that's for sure. So, Courtney, go ahead with something good about this movie.
Oh, what isn't good about this movie? Again, I'm a huge slasher fan, so all of the gore, the bloody kills. I love when it's a little bit extra, but not too crazy. I love the grittiness. I liked how raw it was because it just really felt real.
Yeah.
And Art, he is just one psychotic, twisted being. What's more creepy than a clown is a clown that doesn't say a single word, but still can scare you even more than if he had said anything. Yeah.
Well, that's one of the first things that I had on my list was Art the Clown. Like, not long after we got a few minutes of him, it's like, holy crap! Like, this guy is not absolutely, like you said, not saying a word, but the facial expressions, the smile, like, like, wow, this guy is bad news. Like, other than just walking around with the clown costume, but I mean, it's Halloween, so you're going to see stuff like that. But the moment somebody looks at me and smiles like that, I am going to be leaving like a dust trail behind me because I'm out of there so fast.
Ditto. Yeah, David Thornton is Art the Clown. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, you need some therapy there, buddy, because after this,
coming back from that, woo.
Yeah, I've seen some pictures of him as well, like the actor David Thornton, and it's like, like, you would never guess that that's him under there, right? I mean, he looks like such a normal guy. But then we do, at the beginning, we do get some glimpses of Art putting on his makeup, and we see some glimpses in the mirror of him without makeup, and I'm like, okay, obviously they've already done some things to his face first before he puts the makeup on, because that's not what he looks like. Because my brain's just thinking like, oh yes, Art, put on some makeup so you'll be scarier.
It's like, what if he did that almost to just be less conspicuous?
Right.
I better put some makeup on. I don't want to scare people too badly. I want them to be able to get. I want to be able to get close to them at least.
Hey.
It's kind of like Willem Dafoe in Spider-Man when he puts on the Green Goblin mask.
Hey, we don't know if Art has any insecurities about his complexion.
That's true. Yeah, it can happen to the best of us. So.
Yeah, that's also one of my greats. Is Art he's terrifying and delightful. Like, it's like he just took Tim Curry's Pennywise and just went super slaying with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, was curious, like, if that was like, if that was the direction he wanted to go in right off the bat, like, not ever have Art say anything, because I mean, it's a clown, and it's certainly not the first like scary clown movie that's existed. But everybody always kind of goes the same way with scary clown type scenarios. Like, they got to have the clown like doing some wisecracking things. It's part of the talking the funny voice and everything like that. But they were like, hey, you're a clown, but you're not going to say anything.
Yeah, he's like a mime.
Yeah, like a cross with a mime.
Yeah, and like I said, I don't know if that's originally the way they went, or it's just something they decided to go along with later on. But holy crap, it was much more effective. Like, it made it so much more creepy.
Yeah, it was hard for me to find All Hallows Eve, which was another movie he was in.
Yeah, it was one of the shorts it was based on.
Yeah, have you seen the Terrifier, the short film?
No, I haven't.
No. Oh, you guys have to watch it. He is also silent in that one too, so I want to say it was intentional to keep him silent. But David Thornton really just did art justice in his performance in the full feature film.
Oh, and apparently he's also on a YouTube series where he plays the Joker.
Yes, I saw some pictures of that.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
that sounds fantastic.
He's even done some cosplay as the Joker from The Killing Joke, so he's got the Hawaiian shirt on and the bouquet of flowers in the camera.
Oh my god. Okay, well, I'm going to have to look that up for sure.
He's just awesome.
Yeah. So one of the things I put on my list right away was that just like, and according to you mentioned this a little, was the grittiness of this film, like the way it looks. Of course, when you see it, like it's the way they do it is almost, and of course we know that it's low budget. Like this is an independent film. It's it's not like there was a lot of money to throw around or anything when this was being made.
Right.
But you really don't know, like if first look, if this is looking gritty just because of of this is how they could make it look, or if this was a style choice. But whatever it is, to me it amplifies the movie. Like it gives it such a creepy, ominous look.
Yes.
No matter what setting they're in, whether they're out on a poorly lit street or they're in this dingy old building or they're in the pizzeria, everything just makes it, just adds a little creepiness to it.
Absolutely.
And so, one of the things right away is, like, I got to give this movie props because it just the style that they chose, the grittiness of this really amps up everything.
Yeah, it just has you cringe for the entire movie. It's like you can't release the tension.
Yeah, like, you really can't get comfortable when you're watching this movie. And
no.
I'm somebody that can get comfortable pretty much anywhere, and I'm in my living room, I'm on my nice comfy couch, I've got my pillow behind me, I've got my bowl of snacks and my drink, and I'm like, I realize that, okay, I look at the time, and I'm like, I'm halfway through this movie, and I haven't touched anything yet. I've got my bowl of chips right there, my beer is on the coffee table, I was like, I haven't sipped on it, and I'm like, wow, that must be like the longest I've ever gone without touching any of my food while I'm watching a movie.
Yeah, it really just sucks you right into the world.
Mm-hmm. And I'm a big time snacker when it comes to movies. It's probably the only time that I even touch any type of snack food or junk food or anything. And even going to the theater, like in the cinema, I'm like, I don't care what the cost is. Like, I'm just the guy that yeah, whatever, I'll go drop like $30-40 on the concession stand, no problem. And usually have it almost all gone before the trailers are done.
Yep.
But so this one I was like, okay, I guess I'm being entertained. Okay, so Mike, what else you got?
Not Nev Campbell is pretty great for a scream queen, who will definitely not be around for the sequel after that.
Oh, I was so disappointed. This movie, not disappointed. It's hard to say, not disappointed in a bad way, but Tara, I thought that, this was going to be the setup, she's going to be the final girl, make it through the end, because, again,
that's
this
what you
movie
assume.
set it up that way. This movie set it up this way, and I was like, damn it, movie, you did it to me again, and we're only, halfway done.
Yes, that was one of my favorite twists, because it was just, you don't expect it. You're like, someone's going to survive all the way to the end.
Yep.
Yeah, it breaks the rules and rewrites them.
Yep, that's why
that's what makes us.
Yeah,
what was that?
Sorry, I was just gonna say that's why that would actually be my favorite kill in the whole movie.
Oh, well, we're gonna see about that. We're gonna see if Mike agrees with that.
I'll explain why after, but you'll understand once I give my reason.
Yeah. So, because there's a few to choose from in this one for sure, and they're all fantastic. My God, the kills in this movie are just so well done and just so brutal. If you like your kills brutal and not subtle, this is the movie for you for sure.
Full exposure.
Yeah, really. But yeah, so I guess since we're talking about the kills, what I want to say in this, and again, if you're a gore hound, we got the movie for you, because this movie is gory, but it's not. I guess what I'm trying to say is that like there's a lot of movies where there's a lot of gore out there, but there's a lot of movies where it's gory and that's all it's got going for it. It's like if you're a gore hound, it's fine, but like if you're not, it doesn't have anything else going for it, then you're not really that entertained.
Right.
This movie has all the gore, but it doesn't rely on that. Like the gore is just gravy. It's just the icing on the cake.
Yeah, it's something that happens, not the only reason to watch it.
Right.
Yeah.
In gore movies, you're only watching it for the gore. Here, you're watching it for the suspense, the violence, the theatricality, and the gore just happens.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So when I was watching this, just to talk about the gore, when I was watching this, my wife was actually asleep in the next room, so I didn't want to have the volume too high. So I turned it down and put closed captioning on, because I don't want to turn up the volume. I also don't want to miss any of the dialogue. So not only was I getting the closed caption of any of the lines, but I was getting the description of like any sound effects that were going on. And let's just say that the word squelching came up on the screen a lot.
How did I know that was the word? I saw that on the screen too, and I was like, "Oh, that's a good one."
Squelching, and I was like, "Okay, you know what?" I was like, "Since I've seen it twice now, I know it's twice. I'm gonna make a mental note of how many times the word squelch or squelching comes on the screen," and it was a total of 9 times. And I think it's particularly one certain death scene, I think it actually said like a lot of squelching. Actually said a lot of squelching and screaming. That's what it said.
Oh my god! How can the person doing those captions, like I would not be good at that job, because like for that scene, I would just put in the captions sound of me retching.
Just like closed caption, just in quotations. Damn.
Damn, are you serious? Are you seeing this too? Wow. That's just gross.
Are you old enough to be watching this? Look away. Young children, look away, please.
Yeah, children, please don't watch
That's grandma captioning.
Yeah. So, and talking about the deaths too, I guess like the gore. My God, like the gore in this, the effects were so well done.
Mm-hmm.
Bravo to
shout out to the SFX. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Makeup artists.
My God. It's like right from the very first thing, like the makeup on the I can't remember the character's name. Was it Victoria? The survivor at the end?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just from her makeup, like you kind of knew, like it kind of like I'll talk about this later on. Like it kind of gives it away because when you first see this person, I don't think they mention the name, right? They just refer to her as, they don't say it's Victoria. They just refer to her as the only survivor of the massacre. And then when we first see Victoria, I'm like, oh, I thought this was going to be Tara, but now this kind of looks like Victoria. So I'm like, it's not like they just took some random person and piled like a bunch of crap on her face. Like, I mean, her face is decimated, but you could still kind of tell who it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there was enough features left there that you knew, at least I kind of figured who it was. And I'm like, oh, okay, I think I see where the twist is going to happen here. But yeah, so right from that, like, that was done so well. All the kills, like, I mean, were just executed so well, for lack of a better term. And just like, it's gory. It makes you, like, your first reaction is you need to look away, but you don't, because you don't want to miss anything. Because, like, I feel like these people, like, this is a talented person that put, like, a lot of time into these effects, and I need to watch them. I need to acknowledge them and appreciate them. I can't look away from this. So definitely, like, the SX people in this movie, like, they, credit where it's due, they did a fantastic job.
Absolutely. Yeah, looking at her face made my face hurt.
Yeah, really. I'm like, holy crap! What exactly is going on now? And now you're just waiting, right? You're watching this movie because you're like, we got to find out what happened to this girl.
Yes.
And because you knew something brutal happened, you have no idea what, and there's no way to prepare for it when you actually see it happen.
No, it's a lot.
There's a lot of things going on there.
Poor girl.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Courtney, something like good, like I know, like you love this movie, you're gushing over it, but something in particular that you liked about this, anything like specific, could be the slightest little thing that kind of stood out to you.
In regards to characters or the film in its whole?
Anything at all, whatever you want to talk about, something that stood out to you, something that made you enjoy this movie.
Honestly, what really sold me on this is the character of Art. Because without Art, I mean, the movie's great, but he has so much to him that you don't expect.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like your mind just gets jumbled around in your head when you're watching it, because you're like, what am I watching? What is this person doing?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Like, yeah, it just wouldn't be the same if they just made some random, like, just psychotic killer. Like, it just wouldn't work out the same. Like, this is definitely Art is the only character that could have pulled this off and, like, carried this movie this way.
Yes, and like I said, you guys haven't seen the short of Terrifier, but when you watch it, you'll definitely notice the difference between Art.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, I got to bring up, like, a character that I want to talk about, a character that was probably, like, I mean, all the characters, you feel bad for them, but one in particular I felt so bad for, and I was kind of hoping she was going to make it out of this.
I know who.
The cat lady?
Yes, right?
Yeah. I don't know why, but I felt like probably worse for her, more so for her than I did for anyone else.
Can you imagine how much pain she was in after he did what he did to her, and she was still alive?
I think that may have been it. You know, just the fact
poor
that it wasn't
woman.
like, yeah, it wasn't just he did what he did, because even some, like, what I got a feeling is what you would call the most brutal kill in this movie. At least it wasn't, like, dragged out too much, like, you know, relatively, not quick and painless, but, like, a little pain. Okay, this hurts for a little. If this hurts for a little while, now I'm dead. But for her, I mean, you saw her like 10 minutes later after he did what he did, and she's still alive.
Yeah, and you know what? You never know her status until. Well, I mean, in the beginning they say she's the only survivor, so you can only guess how long she was alive.
Mm-hmm. But
and the best part is, like, you're really stuck wondering who the sole survivor is, because, like, 3 people who suffer immense injury all are the same basic description, like average height woman, brown hair.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
It's really hard. You're really stuck wondering who is the sole survivor, because the 3 of them, at least in the most fundamental sense, once you take out the face, kind of look the same.
Yeah, it is true. Again, like, it kind of throws you off, because it could have quite possibly have been, like, the cat lady who we saw at the beginning. So, for sure, like, that, it really, like, again, I'm like, is this movie trying to throw me off again? Because now I'm wondering if it's her. So, okay, so that's terrible what happens to the cat lady, but I felt so bad for laughing at it, but then I realized, no, this is why they did it. They want me to laugh at this. But Art just switches gears right then. He's not the creepy clown.
That is the cringiest part.
Oh my god. I'm like, I'm laughing at this, and I feel bad for laughing at it. I should be...
My note for what he did after with the parts that he took from her, my note for that was Buffalo Bill went to sleepaway camp.
Can I just say, the first time I watched it, I stopped it and rewinded it all the way to the start again of that part and watched it twice. Oh man.
My only note there was like, wow, work it, Art.
You know what? He did great.
I thought this was going to be the first time he was going to speak, like, looking at his reflection, going like, would you fuck me?
Or something.
I'd fuck me.
Yeah.
It looks like he even did, like, the sleepaway camp face, where he opened up his mouth and went like...
Yep.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was like a little nod to Sleepaway Camp right there. Because there for a moment, I should go back and get a freeze frame of that to take a look, because I just, as soon as I saw that, I'm like, was that a nod? Was that just happenstance, or did they actually do like a little nod to Sleepaway Camp? Because that would be awesome.
And David Howard Thornton, your tuck game is on point.
Were you trying to get a look to see, Mike, if you could get a glimpse of some art peen right about there?
No, I wasn't looking for a dangling silhouette or anything. I was just like, okay, the best thing I can do is just focus on what's left of the boobs. Just let that be the focus.
They don't feature it too much. So.
Oh my god, yeah.
Their framing is pretty good. The framing was pretty
good. They did some good shadow work there. And but again, he totally different in this scene, but again, like his facial expressions and his body language just like sells everything. Like
just voguing.
My God.
Yes.
Slash a pose.
So spot on.
It's like he's just walking like, I'm so pretty. Look at me.
You really believe it. He's another person in his head.
Yeah.
They showed some restraint by not having him do the helicopter.
That would snap him out of character real fast.
Not everybody is as big a fan of the helicopter as you are, Mike.
I can't believe I know what that is.
Okay, so is there anything else we want to talk about like that before I love this movie, but like there is a couple of things that I just want to talk about that kind of that I didn't like, that I think need a little bit more clarification. But before we do that, is there anything else that we want to talk about in the good?
Yeah, just one thing that we never got into, and 37 minutes into this movie, all I have for my note is, wow.
Yeah.
I was sure that everything I was going to say about this scene was just, wow. I mean, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it was good. Like, all my notes were positive. Like I said, I do want a couple of things to talk about that, like maybe would have changed. And one of them, I'm even thinking of maybe I just missed something, and it's not actually a bad thing. I'm just missed a second or something. But yeah, I guess summarize like all the good. Like it's just. It's simple. I want to mention one thing good about it. It's 86 minutes long, and not boring for a second. Like the movie moves along at such a good pace. It doesn't give you a chance to get bored. It has a short run time. I say that about movies I absolutely love. Like, I'm a big fan of The Shining, and the first thing I had to criticize The Shining for is like, holy crap! Like, it did not need to be that long. I mean, come on. Everyone talks about certain scenes in The Shining, and none of them are the ones that made that bulk of that 2 hour and a half runtime.
Yeah, some scenes are definitely very, 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 very long.
Yeah. They mentioned the good scenes in that movie because those are the good scenes.
Exactly. But this movie is 86 minutes of like one good scene. Like, it's just. Like, it takes place over, like, what I'm assuming is probably just, like, the course of a couple of hours.
Yeah, that's what I would think.
In real time. Like, not long at all, because, I mean, we're waiting for, they call Victoria to come pick her up, and she's not that far away. Like, I mean, it's a relatively short drive for her to come pick them up, so, it might actually be real time. Geez, who knows? It's hard to tell, but, like, and the movie is so fast-paced, not a chance to get bored. It hits a sweet spot of an 86-minute runtime, and I just, it looks great. I like the characters. I think every character in the movie, other than Art, thankfully, reminds me of somebody I know in real life. So, there's so much good things to say. But anyone else got anything to add before we move on to our what I'm thinking is going to be very minuscule bad points?
I would say the last good thing is I honestly really liked the production designing and all the different sets and locations. I think they definitely set the mood.
Yeah, it was believable. Like, I really believe, like, all the areas that we see, like, from the street, the pizzeria, the abandoned building, it's like, it all feels that, like, it all fit in there naturally. Like, this is all one street.
Yeah.
That like the typical place, like the always like the more dilapidated part of downtown any city.
Yep, exactly where you wouldn't want to be stuck with a flat tire.
Exactly. And one of the things that I put in my notes is like, really? That's where you parked your car before you went to a party? Really?
Yeah, like where was this party?
Yeah, like why do you have to walk so far to get away from your party? If it's in walking distance and this stuff starts happening, just run back to the party. But then again, then you got like if Art's gonna chase you down, then you've got like a guy in his Halloween costume just blending in with everyone else at a Halloween party. So it's probably not going to turn out so well either.
Yeah, he had his eyes
Wait,
out for Tara.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And she has her eyes out for him at the end.
Literally.
Exactly. Oh, and last thing I'm going to say about the good. Yeah, real life human jack-o'-lantern.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm so gonna try to recreate that for next Halloween.
Seriously, put a bunch of those on your front porch.
Yeah, we got no trick-or-treaters this year. I don't understand.
More candy for me.
Yeah, because I always run out of candy on Halloween. I always got like my own like Sheldon's personal backup stash for Halloween.
Smart.
It's like we had 102 trick-or-treaters last year. Okay, I'll buy 200 pieces of candy. All right, I know this is gonna hurt, guys, but let's talk about anything bad about this movie. Something that not necessarily that was like totally awful, or just something that made us kind of go, huh, or I would have changed that, or even if there's something that we just didn't like about a certain scene, person, whatever. Let's talk about it. I'm gonna go first. And this is something minor, and I'm not even sure if maybe I missed a second, like if I just got distracted for 1 second. Right at the beginning, like we're talking about the one survivor from last year's massacre, and we're seeing Art watching her on TV, getting stuff ready, and then he heads out, and then we meet up with Don and Tara. Was there anything in there? Did anything happen there to let us know that what we're seeing now was 1 year ago?
No. That was another one of the mind screws for this movie.
That's the thing. Like, okay, so this is the reason why I thought that we didn't actually see the massacre, and he's just back. He's going on his second massacre, and now he's going to go after this victim. But then we find out at the end it's actually Victoria is the victim that we saw at the beginning, so we're actually seeing what happened 1 year ago.
Well, you would think it would take her about a year though for her to go through rehab and maybe be able to face the media.
Yeah, like I got that, but I just thought that so when we're seeing Art get ready, like he's already, that was a year after the massacre. Like, a year after Victoria and Don got theirs.
Maybe it's a sneak preview from Terrifier 2?
Maybe that's it. But, like, yeah, I just got a little confused about that because I didn't realize that, what we're seeing now is actually the events that happened 1 year ago.
I think it maybe just adds on to answer in the end when he wakes up in the morgue. It's like your definitive answer, like, he didn't stop. He's still Art playing games.
Yeah. Yeah, sure, for sure. Like, I think that's absolutely right. I just, like, that's what I mean. Like, okay, I was confused about that. One little thing, like, when we get that first scene of Tara and Don walking down the street, if just popped up on the screen, one little title, 1 year earlier, I'm like, okay, I'm not confused.
Yeah.
But... and like I said, that's just a nitpick on my part. Like, that's something very minor. It didn't really take away from the enjoyment of the movie or anything like that. It just caused a little bit of confusion on my part.
I get what you're saying. You would have liked the little heads up. Like, jumping back,
Yeah.
We're not in a continuation from the intro.
Just so that I knew, like, what I was actually seeing. If this was the actual massacre or is this, like, the Halloween, All Hallows Eve Massacre Part 2.
Good point.
All right, Mike. Did you have anything bad to criticize?
Just two. And my first nitpick complaint is that it's a handsaw, not a lightsaber.
I've mentioned that in movies before. I'm like, I don't think that a lot of filmmakers understand like how it's just how sharp some things are. Especially like this one was he was cutting through a body pretty good, and I've used hand saws like hacksaws before, and they don't cut anything that well. And but usually the horror movie trope is a chainsaw. It's like, oh, you give the slightest little touch and there's limbs and heads falling everywhere, flying through the air. And I'm like, okay, I've used a chainsaw before, and it's like, yeah, it takes a little bit of effort to get through a fairly a decent sized tree trunk. Going to take a little more pressure than like a light jab to cut somebody's limbs off. But again, we're watching horror movies. There's got to be a certain
even with a suspension of disbelief, though. Like, you think if you're going through somebody that fast, that they would at least use the chainsaw so you can at least, like, have reasonable disbelief?
Yeah.
Did it make you feel any better in the end to know that he wasn't necessarily human?
Yeah, that was a, that was a question, because we see him generate blackouts at will and survive his own brain destruction.
Yes.
So, like, this is telling you that Art is not actually human. Like, he may be a demon or something.
I'm assuming he's a demon thing.
Oh, God. Yeah.
That would explain why he has the shoulder joint strength and speed to actually saw through somebody that fast.
Like butter.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, Thanksgiving turkey time. Would you like a thigh or a breast? How about both?
I'll just take half.
Oh, poor Don. I want to talk about that, but I know someone's already going to talk about it later. So I think, anyway. I think. Yeah. So like, it was very hard to find something. Like, I found myself like actually, other than a little bit of confusion, like I said, about when the events were actually taking place. It was really hard to find something like I don't want to leave my list empty. I'm sure if I try really hard, I can find something to pick on a little bit. This one was difficult. I mean, like, usually I can find something like, well, this person was like the worst actor ever. Oh my God. So we've seen some movies where like I have no acting skill whatsoever, and I'm pretty sure I could have jumped into like some of the roles we've seen and did just as good a job. But yeah, like, I mean, everything was decent here. Really hard to criticize. The only thing I'm going to say, and this is like a trope from so many horror movies, when somebody's being attacked by, like, we got the killer, they're being attacked, and they get the better of the killer, and, like, there's a couple of times where Tara, like, she stabbed Art in the back, she beat him with a piece of 2x4, and I'm always like, people always do this in horror movies. They, like, they get a drop on the attacker and they do some damage, but instead of finishing the job and making sure this guy is dead, they, like, okay, I stabbed him, now I need to run away.
This is my big chance to run away.
I'm like, you know what? Okay, you're down. I'm going to take this knife, and now I'm going to cut this guy's head off to make sure he's not coming after me.
Yeah, I am going to take this fire extinguisher that I knocked you out with, and I will remove your skull with it.
Yeah. And this is not like just like a criticization of like this movie, like, oh, it's so stupid, like anything like that. I mean, it's what's needed to drive the plot along, because I mean, how the movie would have been, 30 minutes long if like if somebody killed Art like after the first attack,
Rookie mistake.
Yeah.
Fail.
That'd be an even bigger plot twist.
There you go. So that's how the sequel is going to happen. It's like 20 minutes, Art is dead, and then it's just like the rest. Then we got like 40 minutes. 40
Victoria.
Minutes or so of some people just like.
That's the big twist at the end. The lady in the dressing room in the interview is Art. He survived his own massacre.
Yeah, so like that was the only thing. I'm like, it's on like 99% of the movies we watch. I end up with this in the notes. I'm like, no, don't just hit him once and run away. Like, beat him to death. What are you waiting for?
This is your opening.
I used to think like that too, but my only defense to that is I've taken, like, simple self-defense classes, and I was taught, you disarm them, you get them down, and then when you have a chance to run, you get away. Because most times, someone who's attacking you, if you fight, they're going to kind of give up. They're not going to fight you back. But in this...
You are absolutely right. Like, that is true. That's one of the things they'll always tell you in self-defense classes.
Plus, the dojo doesn't want to be liable for the murders their students commit.
Yeah, right. But no, I mean, I used to always think that too. Like, just beat him till he's dead, till he's not breathing or something. But it makes the movie better.
It does. Like, that's one of those things is like, yeah, that's what would happen in real life. But, like I said, if that was the case, this would have been like a 30-minute movie, right?
Right, yeah.
I mean, with the rest of the movie is what, like, Victoria and Don go to the hospital and get checked out and then their ride home.
And I think most, unsuspecting people like that too. I mean, if you ask a normal person if they were in the situation, would you kill somebody if they were attacking you? They'd be like, I don't know. So most people in the moment, like, are you really going to beat somebody until they're bleeding? Like, that's, can't imagine that being as easy as it sounds.
Yeah. I don't know. I think you're right. Like, I like to think, like, oh, if it comes down to it, if it's like me or him, then absolutely I'm going to kill this guy. But, like, I would probably hesitate as well.
Right. Way easier said than done.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
And be like, no, you know what? I'm not going to kill you because then your punishment's over. You're going to jail. And then Art just...
You just stay here unconscious for half an hour, for 20 minutes for the cops to show up.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to ask you, Courtney, I know, like, you absolutely love this movie. This is currently your favorite horror movie. Is there something that you can criticize this movie for? Even if it's something so minor that doesn't even seem like worth picking on? Is there anything that you can say that you didn't like about this movie?
I would say it's more of like a leaving me questioning more so than a criticism.
Right.
I would say there's two things. I am still trying to figure out what turned Victoria to be so vicious and maniacal. I mean, I get...
That was... You just stole my final bad.
Awesome.
Is just being traumatized enough to make someone a psycho killer?
Yes, that's kind of where I'm on the fence, where I still think about it. Like, maybe she's scarred and, like, I don't know, it could have affected her that bad. But I'm not sure because, I've never been through that. So that would be my one where I'm just kind of like, I don't know.
I had my face eaten off, but we're in Canada. We got good health care.
No comment.
I had I had a new face by the weekend.
And it didn't cost me anything. Yay.
That'd be nice. But I think the second was just another thing that left me questioning was with the cat lady, you don't really know if Art lived in that building or if she knew Art, because she kind of said some things like, oh, there's a new tenant, and like, oh, this one's not working out either, or, she mentions like having weird tenants, but it's not obviously a building that anybody else is living in. So that was just my questions. Where did Art live there? Did she know him, or where's Art staying? He seemed to have known the building pretty well, so I'm not... This
is just her being Looney Tunes.
Yes. So those would just be my two questions.
Yeah. That's true too. I was wondering about that as well. And it's just I don't know, that, and just I really wanted the cat lady to survive.
Yeah, that broke my heart. She
arguably gets it like the worst of anyone there.
She tried to show him love.
Oh, and she was so sweet.
Yeah. The only one to show him love.
She's like, it's okay, like maybe you just need a hug, sort of, right? Like,
yeah.
And for a moment, it seemed like
he seems receptive.
Yeah, and then he's wearing her hair and chest.
Yep.
Oh, that was so great when he just leans over and starts sucking his thumb. It just goes back to this guy is perfect in every situation, like the master of the selfie.
Yeah.
And even when he suffers an extreme injury, he won't scream, but he will flip the bird at somebody.
Yep.
Yeah. Now, this is not anything bad. I just remember this because I saw my note, and honestly, at first, I'm not sure what I was trying to write here, but like this doesn't look like English to me. But I think what I was trying to say was when Art seemed to, like, I don't want to say break character, but he all of a sudden it came through like, oh my god, is this actually just an act? Like, he's not just like, I mean, obviously he's psychotic, but the clown persona seemed to drop away for a moment when he was shooting Tara.
Yes, that's actually, I would like to get into that after when I talk about why that's my favorite kill.
Yeah, because all of a sudden he seems like he just... well, you know what? I'm gonna leave it right there because we want to talk about that, and you're going to talk about that as your favorite kill, so we'll discuss it then. But I didn't want to put it as a bad because it wasn't like a bad thing. I just said like, huh?
It was a shocking deviation.
Like he just turned into like all of a sudden I'm getting like a whole different personality there.
Yeah, he's like a dude now.
All I'll say is he wasn't playing anymore. The game was
Yes.
over.
So that's all I got to say about, like, again, like, not really bad things. I put it on the bad list because it didn't fit into the good, but that's all I got to say about the bad of this movie. Mike, you got anything else to add?
No, it was really hard to criticize this movie.
Yeah. And Courtney, I'm sure you feel the same way, right? Like, you didn't really have anything else to add, like, that you consider that probably would be on the bad list?
No, just more so a couple questions, but nothing really that I would say was bad.
Yeah. That's my final category. Like, usually after we're done the good or the bad, like, we'll just see if there's any category that anything else fits in. And I don't really have anything too startling, but just questions like, who witnessed the murder in the pizzeria? Because usually you'd think Art would have, taken care of them.
Yeah. The only question I had was that I'm like, what the hell is Art carrying around? Because obviously pretty light. It's like, is he carrying around like a bag of pillows or something? And then later on, we see him like taking out like just what looks like it should be about 60 pounds of tools.
His magical
magic bag.
His magical murder bag.
I'm like,
Bottomless
wow,
bag.
okay. It's like, I'm not only impressed with the strength of Art for carrying around that bag so easily, I'm very impressed with Glade because, like, they make some quality garbage bags, if that's the case.
Very heavy duty.
Yeah, really hefty for sure. Okay, so what we normally do next is Mike does a little segment, but I think Mike, both you and Courtney have to do it this week.
Especially since there's two exceptionally distinct kills. So, yeah, it's fitting that we bring the guest in on the kill of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
All right.
And,
so, who wants to go first?
I'd like to go first.
Sure, ladies first. Go ahead.
Absolutely.
Alright, so my favorite kill, like I already mentioned, is when Art shoots Tara repeatedly in the face. And the reason why this is my favorite kill is because this is when you see, from the whole movie, you see another side of Art. Because from the beginning, he's always playing, he has a smile, he thinks everything is funny, it's a joke. But as soon as Tara gets him down on the ground, you can even see his demeanor change. He's pissed. Like that, he's not playing anymore. The game is over. So not only does he shoot her down, he stands above her and shoots her in the face. I'm sure he thought that was going to kill her the first time, but he only, gets her through a part where she doesn't die the first shot. And being Art, because he's playful with his kills and, we can imagine he likes to torture people,
He goes back into the bag, and you think he's gonna get like a mallet or like a rubber chicken with a brick in it or something.
Yeah, so he leaves and he refills his oh man, I'm blanking on the term, the clip in the gun. And he comes back, and again, he could have played with her, he could have done many things, he could have hung her up or whatever, but he was still so pissed and angry and not wanting to play that he wanted just to shoot the shit out of her face.
Yeah. He gets angry, like, yeah, you can tell he's angry, and he exactly, you nailed it, like, Art's not playing anymore.
No.
He gets angry because she didn't go down like as easily as most of his victims. At least I think that's what got him angry.
He wasn't in control anymore.
She fought back, exactly. And he gets angry, and then he gets visibly frustrated when he shoots her for the last time and he's out of ammo.
Yes.
He just kind of like he's got the are you fucking kidding me type of look on his face, right?
Yes, and again, he could have just left her there or went to torture her more, but he wanted her dead then and there because he was so pissed. He hated her.
Absolutely. You're right, and I think that just, like, again, that took me by such surprise. Like, again, I'm like, this is brilliant. Like, all of a sudden, like, they humanized art for a moment, right? This guy that's like this maniacal clown that's doing everything without saying a word and so expressionful, and now, again, they do it, but on the flip side, it's like, all of a sudden, like, this is one of the most human displays of emotion I've seen in this movie.
Yeah, and he's just, even when he's shooting her repeatedly, his face is just straight and stern. Like, he's not even enjoying it at that point. He just wants her dead.
Yeah. Yeah, like the entertainment factor is done now. Like, this is just...
She smacked it out of him.
Methodical now. Yeah. He gets it back really quickly afterwards, but...
Oh boy, does he find his bliss.
Yeah. And so yeah, she put a crimp in his plans, and he did not like that. So absolutely, like I can totally see that. And I was on the fence about this, and I was wondering what Mike was going to pick for his kill. But Mike, let's have it.
Well, that's a new way to saw a lady in half.
Yeah.
Because Art has this lady strung up, and she's upside down, and you think, oh, what's he going to do? And that's when he whips out the hacksaw and just decides to divide her.
Did you?
And, ugh.
Did you guys catch he rips her panties off before he saws her in half?
Yes, I did. I'm like, what?
Oh.
Probably not necessary there, Art, but whatever, man. At this point.
Well, no, you got.
You don't want to cut through fabric. I think that would be, get in the way a little bit.
Probably.
Well, it's like anybody who finishes a saw job knows you just got to find. No, I can't defend this without sounding awful. But if you're a handyman, you know how you got to resume a cut. So there you go. Definitely
the most gory kill of the whole movie.
Oh yeah.
Like why he even stopped? Like he manages within about. I'm imagining this took place about 40 seconds. Because I cannot imagine it took like an actual 15 seconds for him to just saw through her pelvis, her chest, her ribs, and then finally, like right down the middle, which means he's constantly going through her spine.
Yep.
And
he's laughing about it.
We've seen a lot of brutal kills since we've been doing this show, Mike, but like that one has got to be way up there with like one of the most horrific deaths we've seen.
Oh, the most painful and graphic way to die.
Yeah.
Like you're lucky if you die from shock.
You could hope.
Yep. You would hope so.
Yeah.
Did any of you see that little the little picture somebody made like of someone showed that kill, but in a Scooby-Doo way?
Oh yeah, with the Scooby gang walking into a room and Daphne's hung upside down with Art standing next to her.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it, but I'm gonna go look for it.
Somebody's doing that a lot. I'm finding like there's somebody, and it looks like it's all done by the same person because the artwork is all the same. Well, I guess it's like Scooby-Doo artwork, so really it could be anybody now that I think about it. But yeah, I'm finding a lot of those online where people are inserting the Scooby gang into like famous horror movie scenes. And yeah, that one was like, as soon as I saw that one, I'm like, what is this from? Like, what the? I don't know what this movie is. What's going on? And then as soon as I mentioned it to one of my buddies, he's like, oh, that's Terrifier, dude. If you haven't seen Terrifier, you got to watch that.
Yeah, Courtney, I just sent it to you. You can just give that a quick look. Because I want to hear your reaction.
Cool. I actually just saw it pop up on my phone because I was Googling it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, poor Dawn, like, wow, she really bit it big time. And that's the actress who played Dawn, Catherine Corcoran. She's actually well known in... she was in a couple of... the Duke 'Em High, the new Duke 'Em High movies. Return to did I say Duke 'Em High? Return to Nuke 'Em High. Jeez.
Return to Duke Nukem High. Captain Planet's big villain is now creating a pollution high school.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah, I think so. It's like, oh my god, imagine if we had Lloyd Kaufman on. If I said that when we had Lloyd on the show, he would have called me a moron so fast.
All right, my response to this Scooby-Doo is, why are they standing there looking? They need to run.
I found this guy's Twitter. The latest one he put up was from December, and that was where Jeeper Creeper is standing on top of the Mystery Machine holding Shaggy's head.
Yeah, it's like I said, this guy does a lot of these. He's mixing some great kills from some horror movies and putting them in the Scooby Gang.
Oh, yeah. There's another one where he's pinned Fred to the wall.
That's really cool.
Oh my god. So, yeah, both fantastic kills and for completely different reasons. Like this is great. Like this is the first time we had a double kill of the week. And great points. Like, I mean, Mike's kill definitely, like, I knew that was probably the one you were going to pick because it is just so brutal and gory and just
it redefined
awful.
Like what you like. It redefined like the gore that you could see in a movie. Like it's going to be damn hard to top that.
Yeah, exactly. And then to Courtney's point, like Tara's death was just like so like it wasn't funny at all. Like through this movie, it's like it's terrible, but you're kind of like giggling along with it, like like. Maybe I'm a little bit psycho for laughing at this, but this is kind of funny,
right.
And then it gets to this one, to Tara's, and it's just so serious, and like Art is so serious, and you can tell he's angry and frustrated, and it's just, just fantastic. Like, I mean, like that moment is like deeper than most horror movies ever get.
I agree.
So, fantastic. Well, everybody, that is Terrifier. We want to know what you guys think of this. Have you seen this movie? Are you going to watch it now after you hear us talk about it? Have you already seen it and you're a fan of it? Let us know. You got several ways to contact us, and not only about this movie, but if you have a movie suggestion for us for a future episode. You can do it the old-fashioned way by emailing us at graveyardshiftpod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter at GYS_horrorpod, Facebook at facebook.com/thegraveyardshiftpod, and Instagram.com/thegraveyardshiftpod. If you've looked at your bank account lately and said, you know what, I have too much money and I'd like to give some of it away, we can help you out with that. You head on over to patreon.com/graveyard, and there for as little as $1 a month, you get to help us out with the continuation of these episodes on our regular feed. Plus, you get the instant gratification of some exclusive Patreon episodes. We do the Patreon episodes a little differently than we do the regular episodes. Instead of just talking about the good and bad points of a movie we've watched, sometimes we do a full synopsis from start to finish. We tell you every detail about this movie that you could ever want to know. We review horror-based TV shows, video games. We do top 10 lists, even some books, so check those out. And but of course, we totally understand not everybody has the money to give us money, but you can still help us out a ton. First of all, however you get your podcast, rate, review, subscribe. There's got usually some kind of rating, review, subscribing feature, so we would certainly appreciate that. In the long run, that's actually what helps us out the most. If you follow us on social media, you can also review us there, share us with your friends, share us by word of mouth. If you know anyone that you think would like to listen to us to talk about horror movies, then let them know about us and where they can find us. Mike, other than the Graveyard Shift, what other stuff you got going on?
I have the Playing with Power podcast, where we talk about Nintendo Power Magazine. I've got the Taste Test Retro Gaming with Flavor, where we talk about Nintendo old video games, usually Nintendo games, and we throw food jokes and puns in there. And then we've got the Tech Chatter podcast, where me and Rich will talk about new interesting devices, gizmos, technological breakthroughs. And yeah, that's about it for now, but I'm always busy looking up for new projects.
5 podcasts, what's that? You can easily do 6, Mike. And Courtney, well, again, thank you so much for doing this. We really appreciate it. And if someone wanted to know more about you, how would they go about that?
Yes, again, thank you so much for having me. It was a lot of fun. Really happy we got to talk about this movie and get to know each other. If everybody wants to stay up to date with what I'm doing and what I'm up to, the best way to either contact me or just see what I'm up to would be through Instagram. My handle would be at @insta_Courtney, the 2 Y's. I post my latest content there. I post little sneaks into my personal life and things I do day to day. Definitely check me out.
Excellent. And we're going to add that to the show notes. So if anybody wants to follow you on Instagram, they can just give it a simple click and it'll take them right to you.
That's easier.
Well, thank you again so much. We really appreciate it. It's been fantastic having you on the show, and cannot wait for Circus Road to come out. We're definitely going to be checking that out, and we will certainly, if you're up for it, we're certainly going to have you on again sometime.
Absolutely. I can't wait to hear what you guys think.
Well, we will certainly let you know about that. Okay, so guys, that is it for us. We're going to be back next week with another beatdown of another horror movie. Until then, I'm Sheldon.
And I'm Mike.
And thank you again for joining us on The Graveyard Shift. Just need to hang up my jacket.
Okay, I'll just... No, wait, don't open!
Boo!
Ah!
Nice backup.
If you just saw how high my dogs jump.
Sorry.
That's okay.
The funny thing is, I don't think you guys heard it, but my dog barked as well, and it actually scared me. So I got a scare for real. Jeez.
That's good. It's really coming through.
There's my motivation.